10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Look at what in my opinion, one of the best
we need you to think you're going to be played against. So they want
I'm a little bit worried for tomorrow's game. I saw a stat online.
Sergio
Production has a bit of a waste of time in the road.
He's going to play up and down. We only have two men now in the
I know people have gone on about if we lose the cup, it could be a bit of a situation. I hope to God it
Sergio
doesn't.
Production.
Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are all having a good evening. Welcome back, champions of Europe. Welcome back, Club World Cup champions. I have a big show for you tonight. I have one of the champions of the world here with us as a special guest. Matisse Armani is with us tonight. Matisse, welcome to the Blue Lounge. How are you?
Absolute pleasure. And I have to say, I love a good intro, man. And you guys' intro is serious. It's not no joke. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like it. So great way to start. Great ways to start. An absolute pleasure to come on, man. Long overdue. So
Brilliant.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. I know we've planned this for about a week, and it's been great to have you on. And the timing has been perfect. You know, we win the World Club Cup yesterday, and today we're here together on the Blue Lounge. So it's fantastic. It's fantastic to have you with us. Big up to Boogeyman, Bobby Smoke Signals, Couch Critic. How you all doing?
Champions, man. What more can you say, man? Champions of the world, man. Everything's good.
Very good.
Doesn't get any better. Doesn't get any better.
Welcome to the Blue Lounge, Matisse.
Yeah, welcome, Matisse. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. You know, I started following you around the same time as Mo.
Okay.
Way back during the Kai Havertz
Saga.
Yeah, when we were chasing after him. So yeah, it's good to talk to you at last.
Pleasure, man. Thank you. Great.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I wanna to say a big thank you to everyone who has joined us. We have 22 of you in the stream so far. Big up to all of you. Since you're coming in, hit that like button to show the YouTube algorithm some love for the Blue Lounge, for a Chelsea fan channel. I want to say hello to Chris. Big up to you, Adil. Big up to you, Elias Ibrahim, Luke Mudway, George. I know George was having a little bit of a rant in the comment section earlier today, so big up to George. I hope you're doing good. MCIG, big up to you. Big Papa CC, big up. Abdul B, everyone in the chat, big up to all of you. Leonard right there at the bottom. Listen, lads, as we do, we will be giving you guys an opportunity to address your questions directly to Matisse and everybody else on the panel. Start typing in the chat hashtag CFC. So we'll be giving you guys a free super chat. If you want to send in a question via super chat, you're welcome to do so, and we will be addressing your questions. So in the meantime, hashtag CFC. As soon as we have, I say about 6 or 7 people registered for the super chat, we will start to pick one randomly. Before we get the questions from you guys, I want to ask Matisse about yesterday's performance, man. Performance-wise, a little bit iffy. Result-wise, fantastic. How are you feeling about the fact that we are the world champions right now, and all the hype that's been going around it, by other fans or whatnot?
Yeah, I think I did a preview of Palmeiras fan, and I felt like if you didn't have the respect that was necessary for Palmeiras as a side and how they got to that competition in the first place, then obviously yesterday would have shocked you. And maybe certain people and certain fans would have expected an absolute domination of a performance, 2-3-0. Rivals were obviously talking about that as well as we entered the competition, ready to mock us if we didn't win it for the second time in a row in terms of reaching that final. But for me and for many others as well, we knew that going into that game, it was going to be tough. My prediction was a 2-1 in extra time as well. And Palmeiras are just not your typical Brazilian side. They're not there to play the beautiful game. They're there to have nitty-gritty fouls, stops and starts, play on transitions, on counters, take advantage of the space, which they did many times. Of course, we dominated possession. I think 71% possession we had in that game, but they looked to counter. And even when we took the lead, which was so interesting to watch, even when we took the lead, they still didn't come out of their shell. They still wanted to sit in and break in that second half. So it was a great game and a great learning experience, just even prior to the game, learning about another team and learning about South American football. And it's not always the traditional way of, flamboyant football and possession and skill. This team was founded by an Italian, by Italians. So they're kind of more of that nature. And they're actually called the Brazilian, in Brazil, they're called, Chelsea, actually. That's their nickname. I did not know that. Yeah, like the nickname is that they call them, the Brazilian side, they call them the Brazilian Chelsea. That's the nickname they give them because of the way they approach the game. So yeah, it was great. It was a great game to watch. I think it was never gonna be a, kind of 3 or 4-0, but it was lovely to watch, just to see the way methodical breaking them down in extra time. I thought they ran out of speed. They weren't really transitioning as much as they did in the normal 90, and eventually we managed to get there in the end. And I think it's pivotal that we didn't go to penalties, because there was no Kepa on that pitch, there was no Jorginho. I think we had one extra sub, because you get an extra sub in extra time, but you wouldn't obviously get both of them. So I don't know. I don't trust us with them penalties. It's very 50-50. Do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to have had to watch that. So I'm glad we managed to find a way through. I thought tactically Tuchel got it spot on. And listen, we're world champions. That as a sentence alone is something that they don't say in London. They don't know what that's about. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Exactly. You've got to take care of your continent before you even talk about the globe. So they don't understand. They don't understand that type of chat. Yeah. So only Liverpool and United have done that. So that's a big deal. We shouldn't underestimate or understate it. It's huge.
Yeah, no, spot on. And you know what, Matthias? One thing that was quite apparent is how tough these guys were. I mean, I know South American football is known for its his skills and his technique and whatnot, but these guys were tough. These guys were at it. They were mixing it up with us. Size-wise, our players are probably bigger, stronger, but they were mixing it up and they were giving us a good fight. So good game. Palmeiras, the best team I think won on the night. Let's take a question from the chat. We've got 7 people entered. Let's pick one. Who's it going to be? All right, Luke Mudway. Luke Mudway, you have a super chat. So hit us up with your question in the chat, and we will address it here on the panel. While we're waiting for Luke Mudway to put his question in the chat, Matisse, a lot of the rival fans and some pundits, namely on ESPN, former players, have been undermining this achievement. What's your thoughts on this, envious contributions that they're making to social media right now?
I've spoken to some ESPN journalists like Julian Laurens and Gabriel. They're brilliant. I saw that, They're brilliant. But a certain Craig Burley, we have to have a conversation, big man. We have to have a conversation, because I've never spoken to him yet. One day maybe, but he's a former player of ours as well. A little bit salty. It would assume. I saw both the tweet and the clip on ESPN last night, and I just think it's a bit elite of him to downplay this competition. It's a competition that every single continent loves. The South Americans, you saw the way that they they came out onto the streets and the way that they backed their club all the way across the world in Dubai. They came out in their numbers. It's a big deal for them. Palmeiras now, I saw their tweet saying, you know, after they lost the game, the whole of South America was onto their case in the comments. Do you know what I'm saying? They were all changing their badges to Chelsea badges. It's a big deal for Palmeiras to have never won this competition. Sao Paulo have won it. Santos have won it. Corinthians have won it. So in terms of club rivalry in Brazil, it's a huge deal. And obviously, it's a massive deal for every continent to be able to come up against the European clubs and test themselves against them. So for us to, or for Craig in particular, and for others to demean it and downplay it, I think it's just a bit, it's just poor. You know, it's not great. You know, we talk about the magic of the FA Cup. We talk about the magic of, you know, all of these competitions where we see your Kidderminsters come up against West Hams. Why is that any different now when we got clubs in South America or from Asia coming up against, you know, Chelsea, Manchester United over the years, etc. So it's their one opportunity to play us in a competitive fixture, and there's a trophy on the line and an opportunity to call yourself world champions, and it's not a pre-season game. So I think it means a lot. It's why I was so gung-ho on us winning it. It was a big deal for me. I think it was a big deal for every Chelsea fan to finally get it. It was the last one for Azpilicueta, the last one for us as a club as well. So I don't really get why these comments are made unless they're just trolling. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just seeing it as trolling and leaving it at that.
100% trolling. Like you listen to some Arsenal fans talking about it. You're just like, I liken it to like a bum looking in a rich man's house and criticizing furniture. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but and the other thing is,
I really try to criticize what you've never done before. You know?
And the other thing is, it's not like we are in the top. Manchester City is already winning the title anyway, so there's no fight there. We're fighting for the top four, right? So the way he put the whole thing up is like, oh, it seemed like we gave up on the APL where Manchester City is winning it, and we decided to go with the lesser cup. But it's just like we're not even fighting Manchester City anymore. They're winning the title anyways. We're just fighting for top four. So I just don't see what exactly he's trying to show. I don't get it.
No, I think the truth of it is, you know, Craig has just exposed himself. He couldn't help himself. He's a bitter man. You know, he wasn't a good footballer. He was benched in the 1997 FA Cup final for the likes of Di Matteo. I mean, even Eddie Newton got ahead of him, Gavin Peacock. You know, he was a disaster of a player. And he would get the odd goal, but he was a weak footballer. He's not intelligent enough to be a coach or a manager, and he's not a good pundit. I mean, he's just made a fool of himself today. I mean, yesterday, he's always doing it, but yesterday in particular was so obvious that, you know, even your man on ESPN was calling him bitter and salty.
Young Ark Voitov was having a go at him as well. It's like, listen, man, just chill, relax, take a paracetamol or something, man. Listen, I
can understand Piers Morgan, but Craig Burley.
Yeah. No, it's just, man. I mean, plastic fans, plastic cup. It's too much. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much. Wow. All right, let's address this question from Luke Mudway. Luke, big up to you, a paying member of the Blue Lounge. His question is: reading some reports today about the board looking to back Tuchel in the summer. What are your thoughts on the likelihood of this happening? And realistically, how many players do you see coming in or going out? Matisse, what is the likelihood of Tuchel getting backed, and what is our transfer market going to be like next summer, basically?
I think actions speak louder than words, doesn't it? We hear all the time Chelsea are planning, are, you know, maneuvering, are investigating the transfers and all this kind of stuff. But we would like to see some actual action now, lads. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they said after the Champions League win, they were going to heavily invest. And I think although they got Lukaku, there was a little shortcut taken on the Tchouaméni versus Saúl Ñíguez situation. Obviously, Petr Cech really rated Tchouaméni very highly, and we opted to go for Saúl Ñíguez, who Scott McTominay, the scout, is what I call him these days. He decided that Saúl Ñíguez, after 2 years of scouting, was the way to go, even though that is probably the worst 2 years of Saúl Ñíguez at Atletico Madrid we've ever seen before. But okay, you know, you make your decision and we go with that. So I think when it comes to Chelsea, it's all about not waiting until we actually need the player to actually go and get the player. You look at Liverpool, right? They go and get Diaz in January. They know Mane's starting to decline, starting to become more inconsistent with his finishing, etc. So they go and replace him before it gets too late and before they're charged a premium. Jota to Firmino, same thing. Konate, centre-back, same thing. Midfield, you know, those signings that were made previously. Tsimikas, very good scouting from Olympiacos. Chelsea, they need to back Tuchel, not just by saying whatever Tuchel wants we get, but by actually surround him with intelligent scouts and intelligent people who can say to him, do you know what? I like your target because you used to manage him, but we've actually found someone even better for your system. And that's what Edwards did with Klopp. You know, I've said it before. He wanted Götze and Brandt because he'd worked with them in Germany. He'd been in the same league, and they got him Salah and Mane. And look how that turned out. And if you're not the smartest person in the room, then you have people to lean on. And Tuchel's not a scout, so he needs that extra help. But unfortunately, we're a little bit all over the place with that scouting right now. It's very up and down. The one thing I did like, which was a stream I did on Twitch with Daniel, you know, he's very close with the club. He said to me, another thing with the scouting that we have to see is over time with one manager, then we'll be able to judge them even better, because now you're actually working to one man's plan instead of changing managers every single couple of years. Wow. And you have to, oh, these players were for Lampard, but now we've got Tuchel. And these players were for Sarri, but now we've got... If you actually give these scouts one manager and you say 5-year plan, let's see what you got, then it's much easier to judge them as well. So it's a combination of things that we have to look at, but that's a huge part of it. I like our targets. I've seen reports of Cucurella. I've seen reports of Tchouaméni, Declan Rice. I like all of these guys. I think we need to address certain issues. We know the centre-backs are running out of contracts. I think keeping Rudiger is a huge thing for Tuchel and for the club. We've seen the aggression. We've seen the quality, the ball-playing ability, the improvement over the last calendar year, obviously 2021. So we need to keep him. And if Christensen does go, then it seems Jules Koundé is their top target. And obviously, you know, like I said, Rice and Tchouaméni are clear targets as well. And then going forward, you need to address that attack, because that, for me, is where some of the worst scouting's taken place in terms of counter-attacking forwards for a possession-based system. That doesn't make sense. You know, you look at Lukaku, he needs that space to break into in that right channel, in behind, to cut in on his left foot. We don't always have that space. He's not looking as multi-dimensional as he claimed. That's an issue. Werner, very limited footballer technically. You know, he can't shoot for us, but he wasn't a great chance creator in terms of his passing. The wide range of passing you wouldn't say is there. Great to run down the touchline as we saw in the final and cut it back, but not a great dribbler 1v1, you know, and things like that. So we need to address the attack. I think we need to be a lot smarter in the way that we move with our players from the academy, not having to sell them to make profit. Lamptey is a good example of that, letting contracts run down. 3 million, he's probably worth 30. Livramento sold for 5, now probably worth, you know, minimum 5, 6, 7 times that. So loads of things we need to clean up on, and hopefully we do it. But it's not going to be one summer. I think it will take minimum 2 if we get everything right.
Can I ask a question? No, sorry.
Sorry, because just want to address one element of this question. Do you have any names in the back of your head that you think should be the ones leaving, or should be the ones being replaced for next season from the current first team?
Marcos Alonso is the first one. I think he's too limited. He's literally a left wing back, but even at left wing back, we don't always trust him because of that lack of pace. We saw it in the game yesterday. He wasn't started, and we spoke about it a bit in my preview of Filippo, that he wouldn't start because of those transitions, because of that pace that they have on the counter. We don't want to see Alonso exposed out there, so he's got to go. I think left backs, we have too many on our books. If Emerson was to come back as well, Baba Rahman, you know, Kennedy's here. We need to get rid of all these guys, because otherwise we won't be able to get a Cucurella or someone to deputise Chilwell. We don't know the condition he's coming back in as well, so it's very important that we get someone good. Players like Barkley need to go. You know, again, these are not players that are challenging first team spots. You're much better giving that position to a Harvey Vale, getting him a new contract, making him feel part of things before he goes out on loan. Loftus-Cheek is another one. I don't think he's going to be the level that we need, especially if you've got Gilmour, Gallagher, Mason Mount hovering around. Then you've got transfer targets as well. Kovačić has improved drastically year in, year out at this football club after winning Player of the Year. He needs to be here as well. So I don't think there's space for Loftus-Cheek, as much as the emotional attires will be there for Chelsea fans. If we're looking at it from a logical perspective and we're looking at it from performance, he's not really, you know, the level that we maybe want. If he's okay being backup, then maybe you can find a slot for him for sure. But I don't want to see Loftus-Cheek as a backup player. I want to see Loftus-Cheek like Tammy, like Giroud, go and play football, go and achieve things
Go and have a good career, not just because selfishly we like him and we want him here. So that's my way of looking at it with players like Loftus-Cheek. Timo Werner's another one I'd get rid of as well. I think he's too limited to put any sort of consistent attacking system around him. He's a player that needs to play in such a specific zone, can't play striker on his own, can't play left wing because he can't dribble. So he needs to play in this like secondary striker zone, and there's a lack of flexibility. I go back to the Liverpool forward line, City forward line. Their players can play in a multitude of positions if you need them to. And I want some more balance. You know, we're talking about wingers here that can only play on one flank. Iron Robin can play on the left for Chelsea, and then by a minute goes to the right. You know, Duff, both sides. We need wingers that can go both sides. Even Hazard was a left winger, but when he was on the right, look at what he did to Liverpool. Devastating. You need wingers that can do both. Sané, Gnabry, these guys that are a little bit more... It just gives your manager more options and doesn't suffocate them so much tactically. They don't have to, you know, appease to players' needs so much, and they can actually put together their own plan. And Lukaku, you know, if he doesn't bring some proper performances before the end of the season, I would get rid of him too. I don't like what happened last month. I don't like...
Matisse, I need you to be on my show on a regular basis. You're direct. You're direct.
I'm not playing
like
games,
this.
bro.
I like this, man.
Because at the end of the day, we haven't improved, you know, since he's joined. And people will say give him the time, but he has been in the Premier League before. He is in his prime. He is on the most wages. So he doesn't, for me, need the same time to adapt as Ziyech would, a Kai would, you know, a Werner would. He's been in this league before. This is his bread and butter. He knows what it's about. And I don't like the way he's changed the ecosystem at the club. The club was very unified under Tuchel at the back end of the last season. Yes, we weren't perfect, but we had a clear identity, and he's kind of shuffled that up a little bit and caused unnecessary drama. He's trying to work his way back now. If he does go on a great run of goal scoring, then you could definitely make a case for him to stay. But if he doesn't and he keeps putting in poor performances, I'm afraid goals against Al Hilal and Palmeiras, those two games is not going to be enough to save you. You need more. You need much more in the Champions League, knockout stages, etc. Then I would look at him going as well. Trying to claw some of that money back. So those are the big names for me.
Fantastic.
Can I add my question quick? Yeah.
Yeah, Boogeyman, go ahead. I know the way he closed his statement.
Listen, I just love the man.
Something you're happy with. I know you love the man.
I'm not going to say too much when it comes to all those things he said. I agree with them. I just want to ask a question. So since yesterday, we pretty much won all the cup possible that Chelsea can win, right? So I'm thinking, now that we make the complete circle, do you think it's time for Chelsea to change their strategy? We invest in a coach for more than 5 years, like you said, and let him make his signing for the next whatever years, instead of the way we always fire coaches. I mean, our old system works. We won pretty much everything until yesterday. So I'm thinking, isn't it time for us fans to push for continuity when it comes to Tuchel? I'm not sure if you think Tuchel is the man. But if Tuchel is the man, I think isn't it time for us fans to push for Tuchel so he can be the coach that will be given a proper chance to lead this team for the next 5 to 6 years, like Klopp is doing at Liverpool. See what we get. Do you think now is the time for the fan to push for something like that?
Yeah, 100% agree. Now is the time for change, bro. Now is the time. You look at Tuchel, I don't think since Carlo Ancelotti have we had a better person in terms of being able to connect with the fans, but also not bash heads with the board. Do you know what I'm saying? And be able to work with them and not clash with them. Conte was a little bit more of a clashy individual with Costa with the board, not getting his signings. Mourinho, we know, is a bit of more of a clashy individual. Top managers, but not there for longevity. They don't build for longevity, and they're not longevity in terms of working with the board. Tuchel is the complete opposite. You saw the reports there, you know, in January that the club were very impressed with the fact that he didn't actually push for many signings in January because of the injuries and the cases. He actually just said, listen, we're not going to make any unnecessary signings. We're not going to panic. As fans, we probably wanted players in, but Tuchel was able to work with the board and come to that agreement. Hopefully he's not too nice to them so he doesn't get taken the piss out of, is my main concern. But that was a positive from the board perspective. The way he dealt with Lukaku, they were also very impressed. And he's come in and he's won everything that he could possibly win outside the FA Cup. He's reached every single cup final possible. And that's the most you can do with this team right now. Because as you said, to go for the league, you need longevity. You need a structure. You need stability now. Gone are the days where we can come in and fugazi a title out of nowhere and then dip and then come back and then go again and come back. If you want to win the league against a 90-point plus Man City, which is who, you know, the team are to beat. Liverpool have got one off of them. But if you want to go up against City and Pep, you have got to build. from the ground up, it's got to be one big unified thing. And we're not going to be able to do that if we keep sacking managers. And the final point I'll make is, if our strength is our young players and our Cobham Academy graduates, how are young players going to develop if we keep sacking managers? When we were sacking managers prior, they were world-class players, your Drogbas, your Terrys, your Lampards, your Czechs. They didn't need to develop. They were just leading the team, carrying some managers, right? And just continuing to bring success. These young players, they need growth, stability, development, coaching. They're not going to get that if we keep sacking managers. They're going to get unsettled. Some managers are going to like them, some won't. So it's just too much upheaval for modern day football to be one of the best teams. We need that. We need that stability, bro. 100%.
Matisse, this is why I've followed you all this time. And yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. You're talking absolute sense. And do you not think that now, as a fan base, yesterday, after winning the Club World Cup, we've had a couple of fans come on, start talking about, we're a cup team. Man City's running away with. I'm like, whoa, steady on. This guy's only been here 1 year. Do you know what I'm saying? 1 year. What he's done, he's taken away the pressure of having to win all these external competitions and given us the opportunity to build towards going back to winning the Premier League. But Matisse, don't you think now, especially people like you that are content creators, it's time to start sending that message out there to fans? Patience. Be grateful for what we've got, for what we've done, what we've achieved. Be happy with it. And as we advocate for this guy to stay for a long time, equip him to stay for a long time and not be criticizing him because this season, all he's won is the World Club Cup, for example, which is enough, but you know what I mean? So, I'm so glad to hear what you're saying. I really am. And I really, wish and I hope and I pray that as we advocate for Tuchel to stay, for the board to back him, for him to build his own team, we appreciate what he's done so far and not come at him. Man City, as Craig Burley said, are 16 points ahead of you. What are you doing celebrating the World Club Cup that they have never won? But see what I mean? Yeah. So, I love what you're saying, man. I love what you're saying.
Perspective's key, bro, because when Klopp and Pep went into the first year at their clubs, they finished third and I think 6th or 7th. The pair of them, and Pep in his first full season was nowhere near Conte's Chelsea. He was way off the pace, and that was after spending
Man City's ground. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
And at Stamford Bridge, 2-1.
Yeah, and that was after spending 200 million, on players. So it took them both time to, and obviously it took Klopp even longer because he had a worse squad. And that Pep team that finished third under Conte's Chelsea, they had won the league 2 years prior. This Chelsea team haven't won a league title since 2017. So when people talk about, this Chelsea team's better than that City team, I have to question that because, they had Aguero, they had Yaya Toure, they had Fernandinho, they had Silva. Yes. They had a good team. They just had to replace those fullbacks that were aging in Sanya and Clichy and whatnot. Joe Hart, of course, as well. So we have to bring perspective in this. Of course, we wanted to challenge for the league, but in terms of Tuchel, he's nowhere needed to have to go and win a league in his first full season at Chelsea in comparison to others.
No, he needs to.
Yo, Matisse, I just gotta say this.
Let's just welcome Max Burton to the stream. Max Burton, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good, brother.
Yeah, hi. In honor of the team, I can hear you. Can you hear me? In honor of the team, I need to come. We needed one person. We needed one person to be late, so I could say lateness is greatness.
Big up. I love that.
Yeah, but I was ready to come on time, but it's blame the takeaway, guys. I ordered from 5 o'clock, and then they just came with my food at 20 to 7. So hence that's why I'm late. So yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. We understand.
Nice to see you.
Big up. Yeah. Pleasure, bro. Thank you. Pleasure to have you. Yeah. Pleasure.
Couch, I apologize for interrupting you, my man.
All good. It was worthy, man. Max comes into the stream, you have to big him up big time. Don't know. But I was gonna say, like, Matisse, your clairvoyance is really infuriating, man. Like you leave nothing for anyone else to say.
Sorry,
there's literally nothing else that can be
my first
said
time on it. I'm not playing, bro. I'm coming correct on here. It's the first time on this show, you know what I'm saying?
If there was one little nugget that I feel like we still need to look at, and I think that going into the summer, if we're talking about what Chelsea need to do in order to, get to that next level, bring in players, I think first and foremost we have to lower the wage bill and get some of this dead wood off of the wage bill. I know we mentioned the Alonsos and the Barkleys and whatnot, but like it goes beyond that. I'm still thinking about like Bakayoko, who I think has a 2-year loan or something like that, or something like that. Like all of these names, like who's the other guy, Batshuayi and whatnot. Like these are the names. If we're gonna go on and bring in like the Chouamenis and all these other names that we've been linked with and whatnot, I don't think they're gonna come if we still have the glut of players that we have right now. Because I can guarantee we're not going to be able to fit them all into the wage structure if we're bringing in more players to supplement the ones that we currently have. So I think the big lift right now is getting some of these players off of the wage bill first. What are your thoughts on that?
100%, I agree with you, because the more people on this wage bill, and it's one of the reasons that despite the way I love Kepa's resurgence, right, as a goalkeeper for us under Tuchel, the whole point of getting Kepa back to this level where he's now performing is to sell him, because you don't have a second choice goalkeeper on the money he's on, costing the amount he costs. It's not feasible financially. It makes no sense. You can get someone who does the job as a goalkeeper as a second choice that does it at a much cheaper rate. From a business standpoint, it makes no sense. And if you do
more than the number one.
yeah, exactly. And that's backwards, and it doesn't make any sense. And if we don't clear this wage bill, it's just another hamper on the club in terms of getting the targets that we want. The whole point of having, a great youth academy is not only to put them in the first team like your Mason Mounts, your Reece James, etc., Trevor Chalobah, who can come in and actually impact the first team instead of buying, players that are not good enough. But it's also because they don't cost as much, they don't come with a transfer fee, and that allows you to buy better in the market. It should do if you do it correctly. So we're still getting to grips with that, getting away from our old ways and trying to transition into right now, obviously we're trying to be self-sustainable. Roman's not throwing cash at it as well. So it's very important that we actually do move correctly now.
I have a question here from the chat. Machiavelli's asking, he says most fans wanted Lukaku to be dropped. Now Lukaku scored in the final. Does that make him or does that win him the Chelsea fans back? Final and semi-final, Lukaku got crucial goals. How far is he still away from being where he was before that interview? Is there a way for him to be redeemed, or is there a way for him to redeem himself? Do you see him redeeming himself, Matisse, or do you think he's gone too far beyond that point? Where do you stand on that?
I can only speak personally because I think it's personal to everyone, right? Some people have already forgiven him. They seen the apology and they were happy with that. For me, he's probably reading off a teleprompter. I'm not taking that personally. I said it on Sky. I didn't really care about the apology. I'm interested in the performances. Since the apology, the performances have been poor. Now, he did contribute massively to this tournament, which is a step in the right direction. But for me, he's still got a very long way to go. I think when you look at, his overall package, I think a lot of the reason why we wanted Lukaku was the intangibles. We know he's world class, or some may even question that now in terms of the bracket. Benzema, Lewandowski, that's the bracket he wanted to be in. I'm not sure he's actually really there, but the intangibles of leadership, of being in your prime and leading those young players around you, those young attackers like Kai, like Mount, the fact that he does love the club, or so he said, those intangibles is part of why he was so highly valued and so highly loved by the supporters against Arsenal at the Emirates, etc. And because he's lost all of those intangibles with what he said, now we're just looking at performance and we're just saying, scrap all the love and the Thiago Silva and Kante and Mason Mount and Reece James level love, or whoever your favorite players are. We're just going to just treat you as just a normal player. This is your job. How are you playing? And that is the issue for him, because he's not playing good enough to get away from any sort of backlash in terms of his performances. I didn't like the stuff that happened on social media, and I said it in my review yesterday. I didn't like the whole Snapchat nonsense, almost spying on his Snapchat and say, oh, what could this mean? And for me personally, if it doesn't affect the team and it doesn't affect what happens on the pitch and the preparation, I don't care. I don't care about Snapchat. It's usually a more personal social media than Instagram anyway. I don't mind that. If he's going through issues with his girl, whatever's happening, that's his own personal thing. It doesn't mean anything to fans. It shouldn't be a thing to make him even more hated or whatever. We don't need any more ammunition. So there should not be any of that stuff going around on social media. Just focus on the performance and focus on what he's doing on the pitch. And if he's doing it, praise him. If he's not, criticize him. But for me personally, yeah, long way to go. Yeah, spot on. I'm going to go on a different player right now because I've not really heard your opinion on this. Maybe you've given it, but I haven't seen it. Ousmane Dembele, a player that has been linked with Chelsea, a player that we on this stream have discussed every single one of his injuries in detail. Couch Critic will vouch for that. What's your stance on him? Because apparently Tuchel does like him, does rate him as a player. But you know his. I mean, I know the NHS is currently struggling to combat a certain disease. But what do you think of Dembele, man? Seriously. I've given my take a couple of times. I think with Dembele, I'm not for it at all. You know, I'm really not. I think Tuchel does like him, and I think that's obvious. He's probably gonna like most players that he's worked with that are talented, right? He had him at Dortmund, very talented player, a wonder kid. That's why he gets his 100+ million move to Barcelona. But if you look at what Tuchel stands for and what he wants his team to stand for, he doesn't want drama. He doesn't want unprofessionalism, staying up late to play games or not having the best diet. You know, he's obviously injured very often, and for me, availability is an ability. It's one of my only major issues with Pulisic is that he's never actually consistently fit. He's going to be inconsistent as a footballer because he's young, but he's not consistently fit, which makes him even more inconsistent, right? And I don't think we should be adding another injury-prone player to the squad, especially when you're taking them and putting them in a league where, you know, your Wan-Bissakas exists and your Ben Mees and all these guys, and he will get injured. It will happen. You know, if you're a winger in this league and you're carrying the ball, Zaha's spoken about it many a time. Grealish attracts a lot of fouls. You have to be a special type of player in this league to be able to handle all of that, and handle that combat and that challenge every single game and get through it. And Dembele is not in the condition to do so. He might be a baller. He might be great on FIFA, but if he doesn't play for Chelsea Football Club for half the season, then what does it really matter? I think it's overstated how much Tuchel really wants him. I think he likes the player for sure, but I don't think he's gung-ho, we have to get Dembele or I'm leaving. I don't think it's that deep. And that's what most people that I speak to say. You know, it's not as big as it's being made out to be. It's an easy link to make. Dembele wants to leave. Chelsea need a forward potentially. Slap them together. It's an easy report. But again, I go back to the scouting. If we scouted better, you know, look at Liverpool getting Diaz, Bowen scoring today, another good player. If we scouted better, then we wouldn't be linked with such major risks, because whether you like Dembele or you don't, or whether you want him or you don't, I think everybody can agree it's a risk. It's a huge risk. And yes, he's free, but again, we talk about wages. Look how much money he's on. You go and sign him up to a 4-year deal plus an option of 1 or a 5-year deal, and then he doesn't turn out to be good, and you've got to loan him for the last 3 years. That's again a waste of time, waste of money. So just because it's free doesn't mean it's actually free. Agent fees, etc., come into it. So for me, I just don't think we shouldn't have to take such a risk. It's not necessary. All right. We'll take a question from the panel. I think Max Burton hasn't asked a question yet. So, Max, do you have a question for Matisse?
Yeah. So, obviously, we know that Joe Edwards has gone to join Frank Lampard. And we got into Barry, he's still here. But do you think it would help Tuchel if we brought in a coach who's got a bit of experience in the British game? Because Chelsea seem to have this bad habit of come November, December time, we kind of run out of steam and results are just terrible in those months. And I think sometimes it's about understanding the English game and the balance between that Christmas programme, because obviously this year was the first time that Tuchel's been involved in that Christmas, that hectic Christmas time where we got loads of games. And, you know, we've seen it before with Jose. Steve Clark came in, Steve Holland was there, who's sort of pieced everything together when we had other managers who've come in, and Ray Wilkins was there under Ancelotti. So we've seen that experience there sometimes. Sometimes you need that voice, that extra voice telling you, just about the culture of the British game. So do you think that it'll be handy getting someone in who, I don't know, whoever's available, but it's someone to help? Yeah.
I love all those names you just mentioned. It's actually the names I was going to list, your Holland, your Paul Clements, people like that who really get it. You remember maybe, and rest in peace to Ray Wilkins, when he was let go, I think during Ancelotti's time that really impacted Ancelotti for the rest of his Chelsea managerial stint. So I think, that is crucial, that is very crucial. And I think it is very important that we try and bring that in. But it is very personal to Tuchel as well. It'll be his decision as to whether he feels he needs that. Obviously, these coaches will work day in, day out, preparation-wise, tactically, medical as well. It's a whole big thing in terms of preparing, and the preparation they did for Palmeiras, I think, was fantastic. It was never going to be an easy game, but I think they got it absolutely spot on. With some of the decisions, not playing Kepa on merit is obviously harsh, but I think, again, the right decision. Jorginho not playing in that game despite what was a decent performance in the first half against Al Hilal, where we had more control, more possession. Again, I thought it was a good decision to leave him out for the transitions. So it's a very personal thing for them. Maybe there's some coaches in the academy, we seem to be promoting them quite well. Jody Morris gets promoted, Edwards gets promoted. So maybe there could be someone there. But yeah, it is definitely something to look at. I think it's an interesting point.
Yeah. There was talk that Jody Morris may be coming back, actually. I heard something.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I think that's very important, Matisse. I hope Jody comes back. We need to have that coach that has an insight or experience with the academy and understands the culture of the club. I think Tuchel himself may not always be the best person to appoint that person, and that person must be a club appointment. That's where club appointments are crucial. And also, yet again, sadly, the work being done by Scott McLaughlin at the moment, whatever it is he's doing there, carrying his wages, it's not good enough, because I think part of that should fall to him and indeed Petr Cech.
I think, Petr Cech is an interesting one, because I haven't liked his targets. He obviously scouted Mendy. That was a great acquisition from him. He wants Tchouaméni. I like Tchouaméni as well. I don't know how much power he's got. It's very difficult to comment, because I'm not sure on the structure of who, what they say goes, in terms of, we spoke about it in the summer. Petr Cech likes Tchouaméni, Scott likes Saul. We end up getting Saul. So who is the real, commander in chief in terms of what I say goes? Is that even really there, or is it more of just a table where they have discussions and then they take a vote? I'm not sure. It's interesting, but I would like to see Cech either have more responsibility, or you get someone in his position that commands more responsibility. And maybe, I don't know if Cech commands enough responsibility because he doesn't have that stature as a director of football or technical director in terms of longevity to say, I've got a track record of bringing in A, B, C player, but something's got to give there, because we do need a little bit more of a clear direction in terms of who is leading the recruitment alongside Tuchel. I think it's, right now it feels like a group instead of just one clear person who knows exactly what they're doing.
Okay, I think this might be the last question we'll take from the chat. It's a weird one. It's linked to what we've just been talking about, but I'm not sure the perspective that this question has. It says, should we limit the number of youth players making our first team? I fear our emotional attachment might lower the first team standard. I'm guessing the person asking this question may not be a fan of some of the academy lads that have made it into the first team. What's your thoughts on this, Matisse?
I think with the way our scouting is currently very questionable and very, it's a bit of a poor hit rate in terms of, success to fail. I think this is the complete wrong approach, with all due respect. I think you look at the performance of Tammy Abraham in his first season, compare that to Lukaku this season. Is there much difference, or is maybe even Abraham slightly better in terms of the goal output? Again, 100 million versus a free. Mason Mount, Reece James, their performances in this first team, again, instead of spending the 60, 50, 70 million you'd have to spend in their position. Trevor Chalobah comes in after a loan in France, a very good loan at Lorient, for a top 5 league team, and of course comes into this team and is a fantastic player in a back 3, has tried to play that DM role before the injury against Watford, can play in a back 4 as well, versatile, and the list goes on. Brozier, look at him at Southampton, Livramento, Lamptey, look at them. Now, of course, more responsibility at a lower league team, less pressure, all these things come into play. But the point is that when we've got such a ridiculously talented crop of players, this generation of players at Cobham, which we've worked so hard to produce, and Roman Abramovich has worked so hard to, or paid so much more to say to obviously make that what it is today. Tomori, Mark Gurhey, the list keeps going. Why would you not want to use these players? You know, why would you not want to use these players and save yourself money and save yourself the Bakayokos, the Drinkwaters, you know, the Barclays, save yourself the hassle, the Batshuayis, save yourself the hassle of signing all these guys on bigger wages with way more transfer fee? Because sometimes I think as fans we don't really deep it. How much is 50 million in wages? How many years of wages is that? That's a lot of money, you know. So when we're talking about academy graduates earning wages and playing for the first team, if they're good enough, because of course we're only taking the best of the best. Gallagher, another example, one of the best midfielders in the league this season. What is that equivalent to in terms of transfer fee? 50 million. That's nearly some people's careers in wages. You know, that's a lot of money. It's not some money that you just splash and whatever. Sky Sports News, you know, you have the breaking news symbol at the bottom and we just keep it moving. That's a lot of money. So we need to be a little bit smarter with the way we spend. And I think the academy, if we want to be self-sustainable, is going to help us do that. You know, we're not going to be able to get by splashing how we did with Roman. If you look at the way Chelsea spend, and I try to tell rivals all this all the time because they still have it in their heads that Chelsea spend. We spend what we bring in, and we don't have the biggest stadium, so that doesn't help. But in terms of sales, Hazard, Morata, Oscar, big sales, transfer ban. Then we go and spend under Lampard. That balances it out. Last summer, we didn't spend any money. We brought in Lukaku, but we sold about 100 million's worth of talent through all those players that I mentioned, you know, Mark Gurhey's, Livramento, it all adds up. So if we're gonna move in the right direction, we do need to use the young players. I think there shouldn't be a limit. I think it should just be whoever's good enough makes it, and whoever doesn't.
So, yeah, I totally agree.
Sorry, here's a question. Why are we so good? Our scouts are really good at picking, you know, Neil Bath and his lot, at picking up these younger players, because we always seem to get it right when it comes to youth and youth development. But when it comes to getting it right in the first team, we just don't do it. And I think, what's the disconnect between the scouting there? And another question is, we seem to get it right when we're buying players under the fee of 50 million. If you look at the likes of Hazard, Drogba, all the best players, even Costa and everything, cost us under that 40 million mark. Mm-hmm. Every single signing we've made over that 50 million mark, I can't think of anyone who's actually been a success.
It's two great questions. I mean, in terms of the
Havertz isn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the first one, the scouting, it is weird, isn't it? Because our scouting at youth level is brilliant. I remember when I was in school, there used to always be Chelsea scouts at secondary schools and at trials. They literally do not let a single page turn in terms of young players in this country, especially in London as well. The talent, they are onto it straight away if there's someone there. But then at senior level, like you said, it seems to be a little bit all over the place. I do think part of that is the manager thing that I mentioned earlier with the lack of stability, because there is no clear plan. I don't like the way we keep going for club targets as well. And we seem to scout someone over 3-4 years, and then you started scouting him under Conte and now suddenly he's fit for Lampard. How does that make any sense? You know, it's like that kind of stuff I don't like, because that's two clear, completely different philosophies. Why would you have the same targets for different managers? Maybe that's because we change managers so often we can't keep changing our transfer targets. I'm not sure, but that's where we need to have some longevity. And on the second point, sorry, your second question was about the
I know Bobby mentioned Havertz, which is an exception to the rule, but anyone over 50 million we don't seem to get right, do we? Or any transfers over 50.
It's a lot of panicking, you know, and I think you know, you look at the Lukaku, it was Haaland that was meant to be the main deal, but that was dragged out all summer, and then it's like, oh shit, who do we get? We need a striker. Okay, right, Lukaku's the next option, go for it. Style, does it match? You know, no, not really. So many question marks over it now we're seeing it in hindsight. Kepa, massively rushed. You know, again, we wanted Alisson, but we didn't really do the prep work to get him because we were messing around with Courtois, who really already vocalized his you know, want to leave to Madrid for his family reasons, but we kept him longer than we should have in that window, haggling or whatever we were doing, and we never get Alisson. Now we end up with Kepa. I think Havertz is an investment long term. He's definitely had some great moments, but consistency wise, we're definitely looking for better in the Premier League. We don't want to see second half of the season Havertz. We want to see full season, but he's still young. Obviously, Torres wasn't great. Again, moments, but no consistency. So I get what you mean. It is puzzling, but I have to look at it. You look at football in general. How many players have really been worth above that £50 million mark, especially over 100 million? Sancho is again a long-term investment, but Dembele, Coutinho, Griezmann, all of Barcelona's 100 million plus signings have been quite poor. Maguire is another example. So it seems to be the hit rate isn't great up there. So, we do need to be a bit more careful.
Pogba.
Pogba, I think Pogba will be brilliant when he leaves Manchester United, but it hasn't been a success for him for sure. He definitely came back to win the league and Champions League. So I definitely think you've got to be careful when you spend that much money for sure, because the price might get to the player as well. The pressure, the expectations are ridiculous when you cost that much.
You're probably looking at Grealish as well at Man City, because most of their players have been around the 50 million mark. Grealish has been 100 million. He's still yet to get the heights or justify that sort of price tag.
Yeah.
I'd also say with the international scouting, I think it's the scouting net needs to expand. Like we had Emanalo who was intrinsic in finding these diamonds in the rough in Belgium and whatnot. And I don't think that we have anybody that had an expansive enough net right now. You can say, is it Scott McLaughlin right now that's the head scout?
Yeah, I think
he has the same I don't think that he has the same sort of reach that Emanalo did in terms of finding these diamonds in the rough, because that's really what we're talking about. It's not really about finding household names. Anyone can tell you that Lukaku is a good striker. Anyone can tell you that such and such is a good player, but the ones that we want right now, the ones that we are truly seeking to bring to the club, are the ones that are the lesser known names that could be these next level talents, and that's where I think that our scouting department is lacking right now.
Yeah, Emanalo is a great example. He was obviously unearthing all the Belgium talents, the De Bruyne, the Courtois, Hazard brothers, and all those guys, Lukaku himself as well. I think we missed a trick there, because we brought in all this young talent, Mohamed Salah. We had all this young talent on the table, but then we had a manager that had a chip on his shoulder in Jose Mourinho, who wanted it now. He wanted success right now, and those two things clashed, and it didn't really make any sense. Either you win now or you build for the future, and we was caught in between two minds, and that's why Salah ends up leaving. De Bruyne, and I think Salah's time at Chelsea was a little bit 50-50, but De Bruyne was a very clearly talented player. We let him go, and obviously the others as well on that list. So that's what happens when you don't, from top to bottom, have that clear, okay, we're going for the long term, or we're going for the short term, or we're going for this, we're going for that. It was a little bit of a contradiction in a sense. So, and we missed a trick, because a lot of those players be coming into their prime now, and then we'd be coming with the Cobham batch now, the Cobham era, you'd call it. So that's what happens when top to bottom you're not really all on the same page, and hopefully we will get to the point where we are, because if we're not, we're going to lose a very, very special manager. And my point is not that Tuchel will kick the door down and leave, but he's very talented. He's one of the best managers in the world, and other clubs will know that, and they'll take him off our hands if we don't back him correctly.
Matisse, I want to ask you a question away from football, and it's a question that I posed to Monster and to your close mate, the Grand Dam, when we had him on the show. It's regarding social media. You are very active on social media. You have a massive account on Twitter, and your YouTube channel is growing. Your Instagram account. So you are active, and you've seen the way that the fan base of Chelsea, in particular, what I want to address, but also other clubs as well. Over the past few years, it's becoming more and more toxic. It's becoming more and more focused on individuals rather than the team, the club. And even within our own fan base, you have people who, because they like a certain player, automatically feel they have to hate another player. And we're seeing player worship rather than club support. What advice do you have for people who are currently trying to navigate this social media minefield that we are seeing right now, and how can we, get the correct information rather than all of this toxicity that is around us that we have to filter through. What advice do you have for people watching this show and listening and are currently suffering this issue?
I think the key word is what you said, is filter and settings. For me personally, I'm probably one of the few people that don't really get bugged out by Twitter, and I think it's because one, I was kind of, that's where I started. I put my videos on there. I took all the positive comments. I took all the abuse, and I had to take that in my stride and learn to deal with it. But also because I understand what Twitter is, and it is a younger audience. It is a lot of younger people on there, and I think when you're younger, you're more prone to say crazy stuff. You're more prone to be tribal. You're more prone to be argumentative, of course, in these situations. And as you get older, you grow out of that, and you care a lot less. And like you say, you talk about the real issues and not player versus player, and not not silly things like this. You move on to better conversation as you get older. So it's a maturity thing from a large point of it, and most of the older fans from a Chelsea perspective probably won't be on Twitter or won't be on these social media platforms. So it is a younger audience. It was made for younger people. So that's part of it. But like you said, settings and filters. The reason why it doesn't bother me is because I don't see it. And the reason why I don't see it is because I've got certain words muted. I've got certain accounts that annoy me. I don't even block them. I just mute them. If you mute them, they don't know that you've muted them, so they can't make another account. This is the point I keep putting forward. If you block them, they screenshot the block, they get excited. Oh, look, I got blocked by this account. Oh my God, this big account blocked me. Don't give them satisfaction. That's what they're looking for. They'll make a new account with a new username in 2 minutes, and they'll be back in your mentions. You won't even know about it. You mute them, you never see them again. They keep commenting on your stuff. They keep talking. You never see them. They think they're still having a back and forth. There's no back and forth. It's just you. The settings are there. The filters are there to filter messages, to filter anything on these platforms. You've got to use them. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're going to go to Facebook and we're going to go to Instagram and Twitter, because they don't care. They really don't care. That's as simple as that. They really don't care. The more users on their platforms, the more money. So the only thing we can do is protect our own mental sanity, protect ourselves. And that's just to use the settings, to use the filters. And of course, take breaks. That's the last thing I'll say is take breaks. I always take breaks. Whenever there's a international break, I take a break. I go off for a week. I don't come on, and then I come back and recharge content, social media wise, all those things. I think if you're on it consistently all the time, you get wrapped up into it too much, and then you forget, that real life is also at play. You can make lists on Twitter as well. Put your favorite accounts on there, the ones you want to hear from. Just leave everybody else and go to your list and just read that. There's so many tools on there to make it a much better experience. You just got to research and use those tools. So yeah.
All right, brilliant. One more question, similar topic. You have blown up quite, and I'm using this in the right way, blown up quite quickly on social media, especially on YouTube. What advice do you have for anyone who is currently starting up a YouTube channel and trying to make it in the fan base, Chelsea fan base, Chelsea community? What advice would you have for anyone who's trying to do that right now?
I think the first thing is whatever platform you're trying to make it on, because obviously you can do it on TikTok, and you got to diversify which platform your content suits. TikTok is obviously a growing platform. Videos are doing very well on there. If you're more of a comedic side, then obviously that could be great as well. If you want to do analytical statistics, then maybe Twitter works for you. You've got to test out all the platforms and see which one you can grow on the best. It's not possible really to grow on all the platforms quickly. I've done Twitter first, and then I've gone to YouTube. Now I'm looking at Twitch and Instagram. My TikTok is shocking. It's got like 90 people on it, but you can't do all of them. You got to pick which ones you're best at and go with those. Consistency is key. If you want to make it in the football industry in general, you got to be on time. You got to be on time. You got to be there. If people are going to care about your opinion, it's one, because you're going to give it in an interesting, thought-provoking way. You're going to come with knowledge. You're going to come with comedy, whatever is your strong suit, but you're also going to be there. If you don't give your opinion, then people stop remembering to get your opinion, and then they don't look for it anymore, and therefore you don't grow and you don't survive. So it's all about consistency. It's all about finding what you're best at, being honest with yourself, knowing your weaknesses. I always say this to people: if you're not good at something and you're better at something else, then know that and go with that. Play to your strengths. And then it's all about networking, and networking is not easy to do. It's something that I did before I went on YouTube. I was on the Big Six before I went on YouTube. I was on Rants the Show before I went on YouTube, just because I knew, having done YouTube previously, not in football, but just with a podcast, that YouTube is just so difficult to navigate. And I wanted to do YouTube full time, make money and be able to live off talking about football. I didn't want to do a job and then do YouTube, because that's also very difficult to do. So I started on Twitter. I did the job at Tesco. I did my videos after the games, and I kept balancing it, kept growing until I was ready to do YouTube and was confident to make the money. So whatever way, you know, you got to do it, you get it done. But yeah, you just gotta be consistent, know your strengths. And you've got to be patient, man. We spoke about patience with Thomas Tuchel. You've got to be patient in YouTube. You've got to be patient on all these platforms. It's not gonna, I know you said it overnight. If it doesn't feel like that for me, because it's been since 2019. So like February 2019 is when I started on Twitter with about 100 followers. And then obviously to now, I've just kept going and going and going. And you're going to be tired. You're going to have days where you're not on it, but the more you put out is the more you get back. So yeah, that's the advice.
Brilliant. Listen, Matisse, I know time is a commodity, and I know you have another stream you have to go to. I just want to say a big thank you, sincerely. Here, the people in the chat, the people on the panel, myself, having you on the Blue Lounge has been an honor, and we definitely want to see you back here again in the future. Want to wish you the best of luck with your, with your social media and your mainstream media activities. Hopefully, you'll continue to be a voice for the fan base. Thank you very much, Matisse.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I love the comment from Gabriel in the chat about you got to be on time, but your most iconic line is lateness is greatness. You can be lateness is greatness to your shows, maybe 5 minutes, but you got to make sure you give your opinion every time that people need it. So yeah, big up your damn selves. Thanks to everybody on the panel. And yeah, man, absolute pleasure. Thank you guys.
Cheers, Matisse. Much love. Respect.
Thank you.
Respect, Baba. Thank you.
Big up.
Big up, Matisse. Fantastic lad. What a show. Look, it's not easy for people to come on a different platform and to express their views honestly. A lot of people try to be a little bit diplomatic, try to sugarcoat things. Matisse didn't do that. So, big up to him. And thank you for being on the show and giving your honest opinion. Much love, much respect. Guys, what do you want to talk about? Because literally we've got another 45 minutes. We can discuss the Club World Cup. We can discuss the transfers. We can discuss Lukaku. We can discuss Tuchel. We can discuss Marina, Roman Abramovic. What do you guys want to talk about? Let me hear it from you guys. And guys in the chat, if you want to.
Can we discuss how spot on I was with my tactical analysis the other day?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
You were good.
Yeah, Max was really spot on.
But they played exactly that way.
100%. 100%. Well done, Max.
One thing that'd be good for us to look into is, look, the Club World Cup is a fantastic achievement, and the thing about it is that it's not like the Champions League that you've won it and then you've got all summer to relax and bask in it, where you win it halfway through a season, more or less. So we still have quite a few competitions ahead of us. And next Saturday is Crystal Palace. Following that will be Lille, then Liverpool. And the whole sort of injury situation, form, that I think is really worth us looking into, because yes, we've got this, but we've got to put that in the bank now and focus on the rest of the season. I personally don't feel that the battle in the league is over, because we've got to make sure we remain in the top four. A lot of teams have got their game in hand, are beginning to creep up behind us. And
but losing the game as well.
Yeah, there's stuff to be done. I mean, going away to Crystal Palace is not going to be easy. It's going to be quite a physical game, and the conditions of our players now, We don't know what's happening with Mason Mount. We don't know if people like Reece James are back, will be fit. So there's a lot to do, and there's a lot for us as a fan base to talk about. Don't you think?
Yep. Just before you guys respond, I've put the link in the chat. The stream is now open, so anyone who wants to jump in, they're welcome to do so. The link has been pinned to the top of the chat, so anybody who wants to jump in, you're welcome to do so. Max, can you do me a favor? Can you just take over for about 5 minutes? I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not me, man?
Everything's about you, eh?
You don't have access. Max Burton has.
That was the question.
I'm also Max Burton has access to the features of an admin. You guys don't have access.
I understand. It was just a question. Why Couch is taking it so personal, man?
And also, I'm more balanced than you. We want a balanced conversation. We don't want a one-sided conversation.
I'm taking it personal. My lord.
No. I just think the fact that we won a cup yesterday is a source of motivation. I just hope that we see a better team against Crystal Palace. Motivate. Even I know Mount is injured. Reece James will not be there. But just the normal, the usual. I hope this cup change the mood, and they're willing to give another run to EPL and see where it takes us. Because we can still sit down here and think it is completely over, and then Manchester City collapse. It's unlikely, but. And at least let's chase the second position. I just think this may be a source of motivation. I mean, they're happy, right? So when you're happy, you don't think to worry too much about the energy you're wasting on the field. So hopefully,
the important thing, because remember when Jose Mourinho was our manager at first, what he said is that's why he always took the League Cup seriously, because he said that if you win that first trophy, once you win that trophy, it gives you confidence going into the end of the season, the fact that you won something. And, you saw the way that the players were celebrating yesterday. So that was a confidence booster, I think, for the players, that they can go on and kick on until the end of the season. And we all know that football is played in the mind as well as physical as well as mental. So, players who look tired and jaded, that's like a pick-me-up, I think, in that game. Yeah. And I also think that, there's one other thing. We're looking at the other teams behind us. The Tottenhams are dropping points. The West Ham drop points. Can we just get these stupid and then moderators, just get these people off, please, these spammers on there. So to Tottenham drop points, we had West Ham dropping points, etc. So I think top four. I think we should be okay for top four. So Couch, what are you going to say? Jump in. Have we got any moderators on at the moment?
MCIG.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I got it.
If you just kick them out as well, I think. Yeah.
MCIG, did I block him? My bad. I don't know what I'm doing right now.
No, it's not MCIG.
Okay, cool. I was just gonna say that you stole my thunder again. I was basically trying to say the exact same thing after I heard what Bobby had to say about like this being a trophy in the middle of the season. Like this is an opportunity for this club to use it as motivation. This is a big trophy, not because of the stature, but because this is one that the owner really wanted. So the lift that it's going to give the club right now, the players and the staff right now, is going to be immense, because we know that we've accomplished an objective that the owner set out for us. So this is an opportunity to use this as like a springboard for the rest of the season. You look at the individual performances, man. I mean, say what you want. Lukaku scored 2 goals in this competition for us, like 2 very big goals. One to win the semi, and then the first goal in the final. Like those are massive goals. He can now use this as a tool, as a springboard for his career. Like we look at. I read today that Didier Drogba was talking to him and mentioned about how he spoke out and he wanted Didier Drogba basically wanted that smoke. He wanted to bring that attention onto himself when he went to the media and spoke like he did, because he used it as motivation to bring out the best performances in him, like getting the vitriol from the fans and whatnot. So if Lukaku truly wants to kick on and wants to, be a Chelsea great, this is an opportunity for him to use this period to, use it as a launch pad for the rest of his career. Like, these are 2 goals that meant something to the club, and I've been saying for the longest time that I feel like he needed a moment. He needed a moment as a Chelsea player. He needs a moment to say, I've done something big for this club. And this could very well be it. It's only the first step, but if he can build on this now and go forward, we might be able to see something more from him. And I know for myself, I'm hoping for it.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to happen?
It's hard to say. I mean, like, his mentality is not really that of Didier, right? Like, Didier's got that elite mentality, like ice in his veins and whatnot. And, from what I've seen from Lukaku, I don't think that he has that sort of like mentality, and I've always been saying, like, my catchphrase for the longest time is, you can't coax a lion to behave as a lamb, so he can't, like, if he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. But this is his opportunity to show that he does. So, I mean, hopefully he does.
Yeah, because it's funny you talk about Didier Drogba, because I remember when we lost to Arsenal, I think it was a season after Didier Drogba had left, and he said, when the cats are away, the mice come out to play. Did you see that tweet he did that time? And I think that was to motivate these players to look at him thinking, hold on a minute, I don't want to be seen as somebody who's going to let the mice back into our backyard.
Right.
And it did motivate them a bit, didn't it? Because since then, I think, we didn't do well under Frank, but we then picked up and had some better performances against Arsenal. But yeah,
the fact is, Lukaku can turn this around. I mean, listen, Didier Drogba first season, we all like, who's the guy that can even? I mean, he was scoring goals at Marseille. I used to love him at Marseille back then. When he came in, EPL didn't really work for him. Lukaku can also turn this around. I mean, that's all we're hoping for. And when Lukaku talks, I'm not referring to the interview. I'm just saying, when he talks, and you feel like he is a confident man. You just feel like that's the energy he gave me. Then hopefully the confidence will be translated into performances, because he needs to get it back. But if it doesn't, Chelsea is a team where it's going to be difficult. That's for sure. And he needs to find his mojo back for sure. And I wish he will bring it back. Whether Max is asking if we think he can, I think he can. Like, honestly, I really think he can. And hopefully he find it faster. That's all it is.
Very fast.
Yeah, we need it for the League Cup final, don't we?
Just one thing. Guys, in the chat, do us a favor. Anyone who spams or anyone who posts racist comments, you have the authority from me to block them straight out. Don't time them out. If they're going to post a racist comment or spam in the chat, that's it. No need to give them a second chance. Block them straight away. You all have the authority to do that. All my admins, all my moderators, you have the authority to just block them. Don't waste your time with them. Straight away, block them. Adios. Hasta la vista, baby. Yippee-ki-yay, Bruce Willis. Just leave them. Let them go. Chris, big up to you. Welcome. Are you back yet? Where are you?
What's going on, everybody? How are we? Pleasure to be back on the best Chelsea channel, football channel on YouTube. It's a pleasure to be back. How is everybody?
Everyone's good.
We're good.
Welcome.
We're good. Are you back in Scotland, or are you back still in? Oh, you landed. Okay.
Say again?
Are you back in Scotland now?
No, Chris is from London, man. Chris is from London.
Oh, you're in London.
Yeah. Basically, I just want to say, I want the focus to keep going now, yeah? Because obviously, we've just won the Club World Cup, world champions. Everyone's jealous. Everyone's upset. It's great. But I want this focus to keep going now. I want it to keep going against Palace. I want to see Patrick Vieira crying on the touchline. I want to smash Lille in the Champions League. And I hope Liverpool turn up to the League Cup final, because they've got a history opponent.
Chris,
So I can't wait to win that.
that iron brew you got in Abu Dhabi must be strong stuff, man. you're still hyped. You're still hyped. Listen, we have a a tough season ahead of us still. Lads, don't fall in this trap that we've done it, we've completed it. We haven't. We have gone and won the World Club Cup. That is a massive achievement, a fantastic achievement. But we still got to fight for top 4, top 3, top 2, hopefully. We still need to beat Liverpool and win this Carabao Cup. This FA Cup, I won it. I won it this year. It'll just be, something that we've not had for a little while, And I also won this Champions League title. So let's not slack. Let's get this win, this trophy, to be the what's the word here? The Duracell battery that we all want to push us over that line. I know everyone is having pictures and images of where is that Duracell battery going to be used, but you know what I'm saying. We need to get that Duracell battery, and push these players over that line and win the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League. Let's keep winning. Let's keep going. Not easy, tough, I know, but let's do it. Let's do it.
Can I just say, it was good to see Abramovic at the game yesterday as well. He's the best owner in football for me. I don't care what anyone says. People can mention whatever goes on in his personal life. That's got nothing to do with it. He is the best
Abramovic
owner in football.
Abramovic, Bruce Buck, Marina, and Petr Cech were all there yesterday. Yeah. Maybe there was others and I didn't see them, but they're the ones I saw, which shows you how important this trophy is for Chelsea Football Club.
Mo, can I just say, there's 3 people I would love to go for lunch with: Roman Abramovich, N'Golo Kante, and you see that man there, Boogeyman. Big up yourself, Team Boogeyman. That's what I'm talking about, lads.
Respect.
Wow.
It's about you, man.
Maybe Tuchel can teach him a little bit about tactics as well.
Hold on.
Working for Boogie, man.
I listen, Chris. Maybe you are not aware of this, and I don't know how this could be, but this is my channel,
I knew Mo. You can come as well.
I can come as well.
You can come as well.
I'm Boogeyman's +1, innit? I'm Boogeyman's +1. Oh, man.
But no, seriously, what Chris has said. Chris, are you done, or are you still talking? No,
yeah, go
no
on.
He's done. Trust me, he's done. He's done. He's got nothing to say. Man.
I give him time, man. So my thing is, I was thinking we just won pretty much all the trophies, right? And then I'm like, do we start at this one, looking at next season? Because this season it seems like EPL is already gone. I know we will be in top 4. So why am I hearing all those? Is it me? No, I don't know.
No, it's not you. Someone. Can you guys mute yourselves, please?
I think it's Max.
That was Max.
So, yeah. So what I'm thinking is, isn't it time for first all the panelists? Do you think if we don't win anything and we end up top 4, is this a successful season for Tuchel? I think it's okay for me.
Yeah. I think
right now,
okay.
If we finish top 4 and don't win anything else, is that successful?
No,
I
wouldn't say so.
I'll take it.
So then let me finish this question. I'm just thinking, isn't it time for us to just start looking at our target and then start preparing for next season?
We are. Do you see the Telegraph article?
I didn't get to read it though. Do you have access to it, Max?
No, I just got excerpts from it. I didn't have the full article, but the gist
I want to read it.
He's going to be backed with the players that he wants, and there's also talk about players who are think they're thinking of letting go. They've mentioned people like Marcus Alonso, Ross Barkley. Kante was on there actually because he only got a year left on his contract.
Don't say that. Don't say that, man.
No, those are people they are going to look at to see.
Hang on, Max. Kante has one more year only?
2 years.
Apparently, yeah.
2 years.
After next season, it's going to be 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
After next season, yeah. So it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
we should always be looking at the next season anyway. It shouldn't be anything special. This is the point I was making right from the beginning about planning. That should be part of the club strategy. And I really hope they've started that machine going, because all this linking us to players and all that, I never listen to that. I really don't. I just feel that unless it's actually happening, it's all a lot of journalist talk. But for me, my concern for the rest of the season, I'm more skeptical than you guys. I think maybe, apart from Max Pabst and Mo, I've watched football for too long, and I've seen things. I've seen how they do things. I think we've got a target on our back now. I don't trust the Premier League officials. I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. And I think they're going to try and make things even more difficult. And why I was talking about how we approach the next few games, it's not just with having our players fit and ready, but it's to be careful with what they're going to throw at us, because they are definitely going to throw a load of rubbish at us. And on the European stage as well. The jealousy is deep. It's deep. If you listen to the sort of things people like Jeff Sterling was saying and that, you just know that, okay, they're coming after us.
Yeah, I understand that, but my question, in fact, is which.
Sorry. Oh, go on, quickly.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, if we decide to invest in next season or prepare for next season, that means there's certain players that, like even Javi Vels, we should use them more often without caring too much about if we're losing in the FA Cup or Carabao Cup final or no. We just give them a proper. Tuchel will be allowed to give those players a proper chance to see if they can actually succeed in Chelsea, instead of waiting to the preseason to try player that he already have here that he's not even trying yet. But that's why I'm saying, do we prepare for next season from now on, or we're still putting that pressure on Tuchel? Hey man, you have to win this cup. We have to, because if that pressure is there, Javi has no chance.
We're not sure of top four yet. We're not sure of top four. You can't gamble like that.
That's why I'm talking about cups. But top four, we go for it.
Even with the cups, though, because it's not just because I consider this season an okay season just based on the fact that we have this, the two cups in if we finish top four. The bottom line is we're still going to be in every competition to win it. Like, we still have to win the FA Cup if we have the opportunity to do it. We still have to win the Champions League if we have the opportunity to do it. Whether or not the season is a success or not, without them doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we have to try and win those competitions, especially the Champions League.
But then in the preseason next season, Tuchel will end up with 52 players and have to pick the best. Well, he didn't even try Javi Vels to know how good Javi Vels will be. He didn't try this player.
Yeah, but I think that this
he didn't give a proper chance to.
You're right. But I think that this past offseason is a little different than the one we're about to
come into.
On, right? He's got a better understanding of what he has squad wise, and he also has he'll have a smaller squad. When they came back to preseason after the Euros and stuff like that, the squad was just so huge, and he basically just had to whittle it down as quickly as he could. But this time he'll have more of a dossier on the players that are, at his disposal, and he'll be able to, suss it out a lot sooner. I think so, at least.
So, Mo, can I ask?
Yeah,
can I ask
in
a
this
question?
thing,
Go on, Max. Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, because
Go on, Max.
Yeah, what they are saying, because I'm just looking at this article. Kante has only got one season. It does expire in June 2023. His contract. So what this article was actually saying is Chelsea are starting to think about the futures of Kante, Jorginho, Marcus Alonso, and Ross Barkley. So it's a case of not only thinking about who we're going to be bringing in, who we're going to be letting go. Because I think the issue with us as well is that because we're stuck with some of these players and we can only have a 25-man squad, that's what handicaps us from bringing in some of our targets. So I think that's an important thing as well. See who we're going to get rid of, try to get rid of them as quickly as possible.
Before we talk about getting rid of, should we try to sign Kante to an extension,
100%.
or should we try to sell him? Because listen, I don't want to be in this position where we have to let him go on a free.
No, we should try and get him an extension from now. I think
give him a contract.
Want to let him go on a free.
For all I heard, listen, maybe I'm getting this wrong. Someone correct me. For what I heard, Kante doesn't really hold the club ransom to get certain amount of salary or wages, right? He's just whatever you give him. That's what I heard. Like that's how I like the guy's simplicity. I heard that for some reason.
I mean, he's making good money. He's making good money as it is. So
of course, compared to me, or all of us, yeah, he is making a ton of money. But on top of that, he seemed to be. Yeah, exactly. So on top of all those, he seemed to be the type of person that wouldn't mind actually stay at Chelsea under different conditions. So a player like that, I think the club should open negotiation and just say, okay, you're getting the 250 or whatever he's getting. Now
he's getting 280. 280. Yeah.
I think anybody here, I think if Kante get offered 200 a week for the next 5 years, will he take it? I think he will take it.
Well, I mean, I'm just reading a comment there by Fraser. He says that he doesn't deserve a pay rise. I'm sorry, are we watching the same player here? Like, the guy in the comment said the way he's been playing.
Don't worry about the comment right now.
Oh, no, but I'm just simply saying, people need to open their eyes and go, Kante deserves everything he deserves.
So, for me, I think we should renew him for another 3 years. Because yesterday, I mean, I guarantee you that in my team...
They won't, that's the thing, Boogie, they won't offer him 3 years. They'll offer him one with 1+1. Because, I mean, they might do 2+1 because it's Kante, but, it won't be 3 years.
Willian got 3, right? And he was 32, for what I remember.
No, Willian got 1+1.
No.
1+1.
No.
And he wanted 2+1? Is that what it was?
No.
Willian 2+1.
What William wanted?
He offered him 2 years, but he wanted 3.
Exactly.
That's what I thought. But
they broke the rule. They broke the rule because it's usually 1 year if you're over 30.
But was it one with an option?
Broke the rule and offered him 2 years.
But was it one with an option or was it straight?
No, too hard.
I don't think it was an option.
I think too hard. What I heard.
I mean,
so
I think you just gotta look at it like as players come. Like this idea that like players only get like 1 year deals and stuff like that.
That's a joke.
Like every one you have to treat as a different case. Like not
there's
everyone
only one
N'Golo,
man.
Yeah, I agree. And like to be honest with you, he's the kind of guy that, if I'm not mistaken, when he signed his last contract, didn't he say that it's too much money?
Yeah, exactly. I was really like that. That's why I'm just like, he's different.
I want to give you a bit of history. Yeah. No, I think he's changed it. I think he changed it. I think he changed it. I want to ask you guys a question. This is a little bit of history. Do you guys remember Makelele when he came to Chelsea?
Yeah.
He came to Chelsea at 30 years old. He came 30 years old, all right? And the way that he played for Chelsea, the impact that he had at Chelsea was with him past the age of 29. He's 30. So do you guys think that Kante can still give us what we want from him? Because I don't have it. I don't think. Listen, I don't see the man. I don't see the man faltering. The only issue I have with Kante is with age. He is getting injured a little bit more regularly than he was when he was younger. And in regards to his ability, on the pitch and his pace and whatnot, he seems to be the same. But
definitely.
That's the thing.
Definitely. I mean,
injuries is the problem.
You know what? I have a different take on that because with Makelele was more. I'm not doubting his ability, but I think that there's going to be a time where I think that the injuries have caught up with Kante, and I think that he's going to go through the next few seasons. Where if he does stay, we've got to manage his time. Because with Makelele was a sitter. He was a sitting player who sort of just broke up play and passed it. Whereas with Kante, he's more of this energetic Duracell bunny, box to box. He's just always all over the park. And with that sort of player, once the injuries start to come and take effect, then I think it may slow him down a little bit because his performances this year haven't been as good as last year. But I still think he's been good. Don't get me wrong, he's still been good. But if he's going to be picking up a lot of injuries,
definitely this guy, like Claude Makelele, legend of the game. Yeah, he made the Makelele role. Kante's came in and made that. I kind of think Kante's took over that role, mate. N'Golo Kante extended his contract, yeah, because he's going to be one of the players that when he goes, there'll be a big void, yeah. This guy can play for a lot more years, and Yeah, mate. He drives a Mini Cooper. Get him
I'll say this.
He will be missed. Definitely.
Yeah, I'll say this. Just on the final thing on Conte for me. I just think that when we look at what we're going to do in the summer, I think we have to have one eye on N'Golo Kante's fitness, which is kind of why I've been like banging the drum about this Tchouaméni thing before. We before we lose N'Golo Kante, we have to have his replacement in tow. You know what I mean? We can't be looking to replace him when Conte's already broken down. He's still in good form. He can still play football for us. This is when you start bringing in a successor. Don't wait until the appointed time. And on N'Golo Kante's fitness overall, I think that it's important to know that this guy's a freak of nature. I agree with you, Max. He's had a few more injuries this time, and we don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that we don't necessarily have, there's no comparable to N'Golo Kante. Like, we've never seen anybody like this guy in football. So it's going to be very hard to assess what he's going to look like, 3-4 years down the line, either positive or negatively. Positively, yeah, he can probably play till he's 36 at the same level just because of what we've seen. But negatively, he could just fall right off of a cliff because so much of what he gives is this energy. And when it starts to dissipate, it could be problematic. Right?
I think
Couch.
Can I just
just a question to Couch and to you as well, Boogie, and to everyone on the panel. In regards to Kante, I agree with what Couch said. We need to get his replacement through the door while he's still here, rather than have this gap, this vacuum. And I totally agree. Now, his replacement, we're looking at a couple of options. Declan Rice, Tchouaméni are the two main options when it comes to the holding midfielders that we're looking at. My question to you would be, with Declan Rice in the team, or Tchouaméni, or both, because let's talk about both of them coming in, would you see Kante getting much game time? Would Kante be pushed away rather than being gradually removed? How do you see it? Because two very good youngsters. Yeah.
This comes down to performances, man. Like, N'Golo Kante is going to want to mix it. Like, if you can beat out N'Golo Kante, you're a really good footballer. You are an incredible footballer. If you can beat out N'Golo Kante, it's just neat. It's horses for courses and competition for places. N'Golo Kante, if somebody else comes in and, like, say Tchouaméni, and they're neck and neck, it just means that you don't have to play N'Golo Kante every week, which is basically what we're doing now anyways. Just means you play him for once a week, whatever, you pick the fixture that you need him in, right? I don't think that it means that he ultimately just falls off the team. If what we're seeing the last couple of years is any proof positive of what he's going to be looked at or he's going to be managed going forward, then it's probably not going to be playing every game anyways. So it might as well have somebody that can come in and give you, close to, a near, I don't want to say like for like, but like close to it when you look at Tchouaméni or even Declan Rice for that matter, right? So
I have something to add.
Just before I say that, I should say that if we bring in Declan Rice, I don't think that it's going to be a like for like. I think we're looking at a change in the way our midfield is going to function because they don't play the same side of football. Like Tchouaméni, I can probably say he's a little bit more of an uncut diamond where you can probably mold him to be more of an N'Golo Kante type. But I don't think that if you go for Declan Rice, it's because you have a specific style of football that you want to play and you want a sitter in there, whereas N'Golo Kante's not that.
I'll hear from Boogie. I have something to add to that, but I'll hear from Boogie first. Go on, Boogie.
Yeah, first, Makelele, I would just want to say, especially Max and Bobby, don't you think the game back then was way too slower than now? I mean, Makelele lasted, longer. He came in at 30 years old, and he lasted a little longer.
Not.
But I just
think not. It was still at a fast pace back then. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay,
it wasn't a slow
pace. You guys think so? And so when it comes to N'Golo Kante, I just think if we bring a young talent in Tchouaméni into the team and give N'Golo Kante breaks, or like the way you said, I just don't think it will work really good for Tchouaméni because he will need those adaptation time. He will have to play a lot of game so we can see the better out of him. He cannot just come and sit on the bench and allow N'Golo Kante to play the most difficult game and he playing the small game or the cup game or however you want to see. He's never going to reach his potential. I just think as much as I would like Tchouaméni to come in, I'd rather have someone that is not a high-profile midfielder but had the basics. He's strong and who will come in and will accept to have a few games to improve themselves. So at the end, I just think we just have to look into our academy at this one because at the end of the day, the biggest thing we need to give N'Golo Kante some rest. So not to be overplayed, but bringing a talented kid that need a lot of game to reach his potential. I think it's not gonna. I don't think it's going to work. Either we have to sell N'Golo and let N'Golo go, and let Tchouaméni in, and Tchouaméni can reach his full potential as long as N'Golo is there. For example, yesterday game where we need a good player for final, N'Golo was chosen. Tchouaméni sitting on the bench will not be happy with that. He would like to play that game. And so we play against Manchester.
I beg to differ. Actually, I think that's
we
exactly
play against Manchester United. We play against Manchester City. We play against.
Years old.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Let me add this. Let me add this, and then give me your thoughts. Let me add this to it. You see, we were talking about N'Golo Kante's contract expiring in 2023. We were looking at what kind of extension he should be offered, what kind of extension he should sign. And then we're looking at these players. Now, the issue is this. If we are going to get Declan Rice to come in, or a Tchouaméni, who will be the replacement to Kante? Now, I agree, different style of player. Declan Rice is, he's more of a holding, more of a tempo controlling. Tchouaméni could be molded, agree. A diamond in the rough, he could be molded into a similar role to Kante. However, when we bring one of those players in, we are going to need to push one of the midfielders out, and it's possibly Kante because of his age. Now, the issue is, if Kante is going to be asking for a 2+1 contract or a 3-year contract, I can't see Chelsea offering that, because if we already brought in his replacement, then his replacement will be looking to take up the reins within a season or two, and that would be the time when Kante would be expected to be sold or to be moving on. So we need to balance this out, because I don't want to see people be talking, we got to be offering him a 3-year contract when we've already brought in his replacement. So we need to balance it so we can offer him a contract, or we should look to sell him at the end of next season. And tell him, look, listen, mate, we're going to be transfer listing you because, your replacement is already here and has already been playing for a season. We got to balance it out, because we're looking at one of the most expensive players in our club, and we don't want to lose him for, a similar situation that we have with Christensen and Rudiger right now. And boy, I'm just want to say this while I'm mentioning Rudiger. The way that he was praying in the middle of the pitch while Kai Havertz was taking that kick, and the way that he celebrated that goal. I'm just gonna say this. Compare that reaction to this, just doing this. I'm sorry, mate, but that is a Chelsea fan, man. That's a blue-blooded man there. That's a blue-blooded man there.
His heart is a Chelsea, is in London.
Proper Chelsea.
He doesn't need the interview. His heart is still in London. That's all I can say.
This is a small little. Again, sorry, go ahead.
And again, I'm pretty sure Bobby was trying to come in, but I'll just add this. And again, that's what I have. Tchouaméni is only 21, and he's going to cost 70-something million. I mean, someone will probably answer, Havertz also cost this. But the thing is, I don't think we buy Tchouaméni for 70 or 80 million, come in and just sit out of the most important games and give him another 2 years contract to Kante. I just don't.
Ready.
We did that. We've done that with Kai Havertz. We
did it with Kai Havertz. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yep.
When he's ready, then you play him.
Yeah, but I just don't think.
Look at Werner. Look at Werner right now. Werner is, like he's not cheap. He's making $275K a week. He can't get into these games. Like it's not about the.
Yeah, but
price
Werner, I will understand that if, for example, we have Abraham or we have Olivier Giroud keep playing, is he up scoring goals, and we brought Werner to replace him or something like that. And then we like, okay, Werner is not ready. Werner coming slowly. No, Werner coming, we don't have a striker. We sell pretty much all the strikers, right? And he can't do anything. So my point is this. If Tchouaméni come in, you will see N'Golo leave. We will see one of our midfield making weight. Because
I think you're right.
He's 80 million pound or 70 million. That's too expensive.
I don't want to start throwing numbers around about who's what and what. We don't know.
No. I'm saying the price now that we're hearing is 60, 70, or 80 million for Tchouaméni. Or even Declan Rice is 100 something.
You hear that stuff every time the window opens, man. Oh, now he's 40 million. Now he's 60 million.
Yeah, but let's just say he's 60 million. You're going to buy Tchouaméni in for 60 million and just sitting to give it time to develop.
I don't think that, like I said, I don't think that N'Golo Kante, even as of right now, is playing every game. Like he plays, sparingly, even as is. He's coming off the bench. So there's going to be minutes for somebody like a Tchouaméni to come in and play and mix it with the best.
Yeah, but
he's not going to play every game. Like
I understand that, but if you were Tchouaméni, would you reach your potential when you only play? Like that's my last time to say that.
Right.
If you were Tchouaméni, would you be happy? Because everybody says you have that potential to reach. Would you be happy sitting and just playing 1 or 2 or 3 games, or even total of 25 games in a season? No, you're never going to reach that potential. He's playing Monaco. He's playing 40, 50 games a season. That's why he's managed to reach that.
But again, what I counter that with. You're not necessarily not playing games. You're playing enough games. You're getting minutes. You're probably not getting the amount of minutes that you would be getting at Monaco. And then a year or two down the line, if you continue to progress and continue to grow, you're going to be getting more games. Like it's just steel that sharpens steel. That's what I'm saying. Steel sharpens steel. So you come to a club like Chelsea, and you have to mix it with the likes of N'Golo Kante, Kovačić, Jorginho. You're gonna get sharper. You're gonna become a better player, and that's what. If you want to be a top level player, that's what you want to do. You don't like, at Monaco, I'm gonna be playing all the time. You know what I mean? And not really getting any better. This is the level of competition that you want to be in.
Yeah, and Boogeyman, big players don't think that way anymore. If he was at Manchester City, he'll be facing the same problems. He's not playing all the games as Man City. If he's at Liverpool, he's not playing all the games at Liverpool. So if he wants to join the best and be the best, he's got to realise he's going to be part of a squad. And even if he's not playing all the games, what you've got to realise is when you're playing for a team like Chelsea, who go far in most competitions, there's going to be FA Cup, there's going to be Premier League, there's going to be Champions League. So there's going to be a lot of competitions to play in. So even if he's playing 30 games in that season, remember we've got 60 games, 60 plus games we play, 30 games in a side you're going to be challenging and winning things. He'll be happy with that. If you don't have if your player's not willing to come and fight for his place, then he's not got the mentality that we need at the club. We need players with the right mentality.
Can I ask a question after
that they can come in and compete and be the best.
So that's what I'm saying. If Tchouaméni was 24, 25, even 26, I wouldn't mind him coming in now and play a few games. N'Golo sharing the game time with N'Golo.
More when he's younger than he's been.
But when he's younger,
but he's done his loan period already because back we send our players on loan and everything. When you think Tchouaméni's been playing since he's 17, 18, so he's been playing a lot of games. So he's learned, he's grown, his body's grown, he's developed. So he knows what it's like to play in a lot of games. So
I understand extra development. It's more the player reaching its potential, because if you put it that way, he will reach a bigger potential playing regularly, correcting his fault. Like you play this game, you notice that my movement was not properly. Next game you play, you do this, you improve yourself, you keep improving yourself, That's how you reach your potential, especially when you're 21 or 22 or even 19. But when you are 26 and you get transferred to Chelsea, you pretty much know approximately who you are. Then when you're sharing game time with N'Golo Kante, then you know who you are already. But I'm still thinking.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Let me get some
But do I make sense a little? Because I don't know if I'm trying
you do. Let me hear from Chris. And then I'll hand the mic back over to you guys. Go on, Chris.
No, I've got a question separate to this. So if you want to let them continue talking about it, then I'll come in after. It's a separate question. So,
what's the question about?
So no, what I was going to say was just come up to the League Cup final, and I just want to know if there's any Liverpool fans. Obviously, we're playing Liverpool in the League Cup final. I'm just want to know if there's any Liverpool fans in the who's listening or watching. Who knows? I just want to ask. How did it feel when Gerrard slipped? I just want to know. Just let me know. Thank you. Just let me know.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in due course.
This guy's just joking, man. He's full of jokes.
That's no, like I love you, man. I love you, Chris.
Thanks, Boogie, Team Boogie.
Just to touch on it, like I hear you. I agree with you. Like young players who are coming out of the academy need to play a lot of minutes. I think Billy Gilmour is a perfect example of somebody that fits the bill of a guy that needs to play a lot of minutes. In the case of Tchouaméni, like he's playing these minutes already. He's already getting this time at Monaco. He's a French international. Like he plays for France. So he comes into the squad not to sit on the bench and learn. He comes into the squad to adjust to the pace and the power of the Premier League until he's ready to assume the role to play multiple games. You know, so that's why it's important that you have N'Golo Kante here now and the form that he's in right now to, you know, slow the transition from N'Golo Kante to Tchouaméni. I think that's a natural change. It doesn't matter what his price tag is. Like he can be 80 million. It would be the exact same thing for me. You know what I mean? Like a young player coming into the squad needs to learn what it means to play in the Premier League before you can hand over the reins.
Yeah,
Couch. What you said. Sorry, Max. I think what Couch is saying is spot on, especially for Tchouaméni, because Tchouaméni is the player who you want to replace. Ideally, you want not only to replace Kante, but to take on the role that Kante has. And I think Tchouaméni being French, Kante being French, them two together is a must. Is a must, because that is how he's going to pick up on what Kante is best at. And Tchouaméni has the ability to do what Kante can do. So it's a must that they have at least a couple of seasons together. So Declan Rice, different type of scenario. But with Tchouaméni and Kante, yeah, I agree totally. Sorry, Max, go ahead.
No, I was saying you look at Benzema at Real Madrid. Again, that's the same situation he had to go. And Higuain to some extent. That's what they do. They bring them in, teach them the Real Madrid way, and then so there's a natural transition when when a big player like Ronaldo goes or whatever. Remember, Benzema to play second fiddle for him for a while, and he's sort of now the main player. So you do have that. You have players coming in, learning their trade for a bit, and then taking over. Phil Foden at Man City is another one who, he hasn't had to go out and have minutes or whatever. He learned his trade, as Couch Dennis has rightly said. You can become a better player in training by playing with better players. A lot of players have come to Chelsea and said, you know what, I've improved my game just by training with better players and learn. You can learn mistakes. I know it's different for playing, but you can still perfect your craft. Practicing day in, day out and learning off those big time players. So I think 21 is a good age for him to come and transition into the new Kante.
Yeah, steel sharpens steel, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, guys, we have a week off because there's no football until Saturday against Crystal Palace. I will be streaming over the next couple of days, but it'll be sporadic. I'm not sure, when. I mean, I'm definitely not streaming tomorrow. I might not be streaming Tuesday. So just make sure you've subscribed and you've turned that bell notification button on, because you need to be notified when I do stream. Also, if you're following me on Twitter or Instagram, you will get notified before I go live, because I will post something on those platforms. today has been a really good stream. I've been looking forward to having Matisse on my channel for quite some time, so it was really good to have him on tonight. I will be trying to get more YouTubers from the Chelsea community to come on. So give me a bit of time, and hopefully I'll have everyone on my show at some point in the future. That's the plan. And I'm looking forward to getting some of the guys who've already been on to come back on in the future as well. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's been here, everyone in the chat, everyone on the panel. It's not easy getting an entire chat full of world champions and a panel full of world champions, but I managed to do it tonight. So big up to all of you world champions. I'll give everyone a minute to give me the final thoughts on the success that we've had last night. I know we talked about it yesterday, but after reflection, I want to hear thoughts. So I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to give me the final thoughts on the accomplishment that we have had. I'll start with Chris. He was there, so he could give us a different perspective. So Chris, kick us off, mate.
Well, to sum up the success, Club World Cup, we've ticked that. The Premier League, we've ticked that. Champions League, we've ticked that. Europa League and FA Cup, League Cup, etc. Look, we are the world champions. We are the European champions. We can be the European champions again. So look, it's good times. It's good times. We've got the best manager, in my opinion, in the world, Thomas Tuchel. People can say I'm being biased, but I'm a world champion. I don't care if you think I'm biased. Roman Abramovic, best owner in world football. Chelsea Football Club, the best club in world football. So in overall, Mo, Max, Boogeyman, Couch, and Bobby, the listeners, lads, let's enjoy the times ahead. It's good times. People think we're in a crisis. We're not in a crisis. Good times are ahead. Just look into the horizon, and the horizon is blue. Just like the Blue Lounge. Hey, big up.
Big up, Chris. Cheers, mate. The world is blue tonight, or since last night, it's been blue. The whole planet. Couch, final thoughts in respect to the great achievement of last night.
Fantastic, and big up, Mo. Great stream. So good to mix it with Matisse, that guy. Like I said, he's just so clairvoyant. He just leaves no room for anyone to say anything else. Like everything he said, I've been banging on about, but like he just says it with an eloquence and an elliptis. Is it elliptic? Yeah, something of that sort that is of another level. But as far as being the champions of the world goes, I mean, so many things that I want to say now, but I have a video coming out in about an hour or so that I'll leave some of those nuggets for it. But I will say this, one of the sneak peeks, I wanted to speak on Rudiger, because this guy, like, we could talk about his performance. He was my man of the match, like easily my man of the match. What I have to say, though, is these are the reasons why you pay him the money that he wants to be paid. Because when you play in big performances, big games like Champions League final, this Club World Cup, he steps up and he is a man of the match on any of those occasions. You know what I mean? Like, that's why he's demanding the money that he wants. It's not because he's being greedy or anything of that sort. It's because he can play in the big stage, the big performances, and give you a big performance on the night. That's why he's worth 200K or more. You know what I mean? He's our most important defender, and I want to see him signed. And like, I don't think that they're going to let this guy walk. I really don't. Like, I think after that performance in a competition where obviously the owner wanted to win it, like it was desperate to win it, and Rudiger puts in a man of the match performance, how can you tell him that he's not worth 200K? How can you tell him that? You know what I mean? So I think that Roman's going to get it done. If it means bypassing the directors and whatnot, the people that actually do this contracts, Roman will get him signed, because this guy is intrinsic or integral to the winning mentality that this club needs to maintain if we want to continue to be European champions, world champions. These are the types of personalities you need around the club. So I'm going to leave on that note, guys. Great mixing it with you guys. And again, keep the blue flag flying high. We're world champions, man.
Fantastic. Yeah, listen, these are the leaders. These are the leaders that we need in our team. The likes of Rudiger. Yeah, no, spot on. And guys, listen, the Couch Critic. I mean, I banter him a lot, but he has a great channel, a great channel. I will actually link his video once he goes live in my community tab. But if you just go direct, subscribe to his channel, the Couch Critic. Fantastic channel.
Peace out, fellas.
It's really good. Take care, Couch. Have a good night, brother. Have a good night. See you on the other side, man. Take care.
Yeah, man.
Take care. Bye-bye, Couch. All right. Seriously, guys. Couch Critic, Dennis P. Very, very good content. Very, very good content. So go check it out. Bobby Smoke Signals. Last night, you became the world champion.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that I personally have been really wanting for 10 years. It hurt me when we lost it the first time around for so many reasons. One, because I believe at that time we should have won it. We blew an opportunity. And you see, the thing is, in football, you don't waste chances for greatness. We've done it now. But the thing is now, with success, opens a new chapter and a new type of pressure. I believe that we will face new pressures in our domestic competitions, but we can stand up to it. What's going to be key for us going forward is planning. We've shared a lot about N'Golo Kante and his future and so on and so forth, none of which I really take seriously, because if we're going to back Tuchel, I think it will be him that will decide what we'll do about that. And if he feels that bringing in people like Tchouaméni means that we have to offload even a diamond like Kante, I have my reservations, but I will trust him because of who he is. I think in football you always look forward. We've done this. We've got the pedigree now, but we've got to keep it. We've got to sustain it, and we've got to be better. Everything now for us as a football club, as a fan base, is about taking Chelsea into the next level to be able to be consistently at the top table. Can we repeat the Champions League again? Well, you've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? And we're in it. We set a target of getting to the quarterfinals as being an achievement. I've scrambled that. I think we have to aim at going all the way again and dream.
I think it's less of a dream and more of an ambition. It was a dream for the past 10 years. But now that we've won it again, now that we've won the World Club Cup, I think the desire is there. The taste is still there. And these boys, they're young, and I think I can see us doing it again. If not this season, in the next couple of years. I don't think we'll have to wait another 10 years for another Champions League. I just have I have faith in these lads, and I think they can do it again. Bobby, thank you very much for your insight. Always a pleasure having you on my stream. And we'll see you again in the upcoming stream, mate. Have a good night, brother.
Champions of the world.
Take care.
Thanks,
champions.
Bobby, for calling me champions. Good, man. Thanks.
All right, Boogeyman. Champion of the world. How do you feel, mate? How do you feel?
I'm feeling great. Listen, where I am, I have I'm like a few WhatsApp group, and none of my friends are commenting in that group. Like we, as an EPL group, friend from there's a few friends that support Liverpool, Tottenham. 5 of them.
Don't call them fans. Call them acquaintances. You can't have a friend who supports Liverpool.
Acquaintance. No, I know them for many years now. So we are all in a big WhatsApp group, and since yesterday, none of them say anything in the group. So I know why. So they know if someone comment, I will just bash them down. So they know. So it's a really good time to be Chelsea fan. I've been supporting this team since like '94 or something. So a little bit over a decade. And listen, I think I've never made a better choice in my life when it comes to my hobby. It's just amazing to be Chelsea fan, and we pretty much won all the trophies that we can won as a Premier League team. So listen, I'm buzzing. I'm happy. Good time to be Chelsea fan. That's all I can say, and hopefully be able to keep this positivity through the next game, through the game after, through all the then. Probably the only way me and Max can really have a normal discussion. If I'm always positive, right? Okay, man. Yo, thanks for having me, Mo. And listen,
Boogie, always a pleasure, my brother.
Yeah, take care.
Take care of yourself, man. Have a good night.
Take care.
Good night, champion. Good night.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yo, Max Burton, you have two sons. One is a world champion. The other one isn't.
Emirates Cup champion.
Any fighting yesterday? Any bantering in your household yesterday? I'm sure there was.
Actually, I said, "Are you happy for us?" He said, "Through gritted teeth." Yeah, he was.
All right.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Respect for that.
Yeah. 3 words: trophy cabinet complete, and that's it. We've done a lot. We've won a lot. And all under Roman Abramovich, when he came in to take over the club, I bet he didn't think that he'll see us win every single trophy available out there. You know, he's come in, and it's not only just under him, because I know everyone saying it's because of Roman Abramovich or whatever. We were winning things beforehand, and only us and Manchester United can do it now, because the Cup Winners' Cup, which we won before Roman Abramovich was there.
Yep.
That's no longer that no longer exists. So there's no other club. Liverpool can't do it. Arsenal can't do it. You know, Arsenal got to win the Champions League first anyway before they could think about winning everything else. But anyway, so nobody else can do it. And in world football, I think they said there was only 5 clubs. I think it was us, Ajax. I can't remember the other 2.
Real Madrid, us, Ajax,
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Was it Bayern Munich? Bayern Munich, I think it was.
Was it Bayern?
I think it was Bayern.
Or was it Man United? I think it might be
and Man United as well. And Man United. Yeah. I think there's only 5 clubs who have won everything which is available, all the major trophies. I'm not talking about some whatever. What's that? Tottenham want to win the Simad Cup or the cup? What they used to have.
Conference.
You know that league cup that friendly cup they used to have back in the day. And and we won it, Audi Cup. That was it, the Audi Cup. And we actually went to their place and won it, that little friendly tournament. So we're not talking about silly things like that. We're talking about major honours. All the jealousy is because the other teams can't win it. I've heard some nonsense about this plastic trophy. But to win this plastic trophy, first of all, you've got to finish in the top 4 in your league. You've got to win the Champions League. And you've got to go out there and beat the best in the other world football. The clubs
you got to be at least 2 continental champions. Continental champions.
Yeah, because that got tight side Al Hilal, who we played the other day. If they played against a few teams in the Premier League, they'll be beating them. They weren't the mugs. There weren't no mugs, and they had, look at the caliber of player that they had in their side. Players who've played in the Premier League and excelled in the Premier League. The Brazilian side yesterday, well-organised team.
Tough team. Tough team. Yeah.
This isn't a Mickey Mouse tournament. We got to be in it to win it, and it's going to only get harder. As I said yesterday, they're going to revamp the tournament, and a lot of teams are going to be saying, I wish we could win this tournament. So don't belittle it. It's going to be massive in the future. It's not going to be on Channel 4. It's going to Sky and all those big channels are going to be vying to get it on their channels. As it grows, but we've got it now. We've got a nice, neat trophy, nice looking trophy as well, and it's in our cabinet. And I'm looking forward to going to see it.
I just want to say one thing, Max, before you sign off. ESPN and the comments that were made by Burley, and also
I've got a video coming out on that one soon.
I'll
tomorrow.
Definitely be watching that. Definitely be watching that. And the way they addressed it, because Chelsea won it. I mean, even in the thumbnail, even in the title, plastic cup, yes, they were referring to Craig Burley's comments on that. But when you look at when Liverpool won it, because I know somebody posted on Twitter, when Liverpool won it, when Bayern Munich won it, how they actually addressed it, it's like the envy is clear to see. Yeah. I'm gonna, before I used to call it trolling, I used to call it hypocrisy, double standards, and all that kind of stuff. Now it's pure envy, because that's what it is. Because
bring
we can do it, we've done it, and they haven't done it. Yeah, bring on. You want to envy us? Go for it.
We're not hated. That means we're successful. If we're loved,
we're
that means that we're
you,
not. That people don't like us anymore. But I like to be hated. Yeah. We're hated under Jose Mourinho when we done back-to-backs. We're hated when we won the double under Ancelotti. So you know what? Bring the hate. As long as the Chelsea fans have the love, everyone else can hate us. Exactly. As Millwall fans say they may hate us, we don't care.
Yeah, not the best fan base to use as your role models, Max, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Big up to you, Max. Thank you for coming on. I will see you in the next stream.
Just a great show, great people you're bringing on as well, and Matisse selection today. And
excellent, Gizo. Excellent, Gizo.
What do you do? Angry Rant Man next? No, any joking.
No. No way. No, I've got a couple of guys planned, hopefully for the next couple of streams. So we'll just see how it pans out. Most of these guys, they have schedules and they have other commitments, so it's not easy always to get them to come on. But I'm working on it.
All right, nice one. Take care. All the best.
Take care, Max. See ya. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Max.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers, Max. All right, guys. What a stream. I'm going to end it by saying thank you to Matisse for coming on. Thank you to all the guests who have come on in the past for making it possible to have this show. It's always good to have a different point of view, a different perspective when it comes to debates and getting a point of view from someone who has content on a different channel. And I was really, really happy with the way that Matisse addressed a lot of the questions, being direct and being honest. And, it was good to have that. It was refreshing to see that from him. So thank you to Matisse. Thank you to all of you guys for being here, for taking part, for watching the stream. To all the guys who've hit that like button, big up to you. For all the guys who haven't, just hit the like button before you leave. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Much love, much respect. I will see you in my next stream in a couple of days. Have a good night, people. Peace.